Hey, Andy here. We're going to do something a little different, but kind of the same. I know there's another YouTuber that does that, but I'm just going to go with it. I've got Nick Grasso here. He's one of my coworkers. He is an inside sales rep on his way up. What are you going to school for right now?
I'm getting my MBA currently.
Awesome. Okay. When are you graduating? Just so I know when to expect to see you leave.
No, not at all. December's the plan.
December. Oh, awesome. Cool. Invite me to the graduate. Is that a graduate? Do you do a graduation? Anyway, gift, whatever. So what we're going to kind of do today, Nick has been at the company like 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
He's almost 2 years. And he's fair to say you're relatively new to Kubernetes, containers, and all this technology mumbo jumbo, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Just looking to, have a better understanding of, the ins and outs.
Awesome. So what we're going to do is I'm going to teach him. We've got a little bit. We're going to do a single node server cluster. We're going to do RKE2, which is our Kubernetes layer, and we're going to do Rancher and maybe Longhorn on top. Pretty simple. One server, I've already spun it up in AWS. You can use it anywhere. But I think it's probably good, if it's fair, to start off with what is a container. Because if we're going to start somewhere, let's start from the ground, because why not? Okay, so you're in luck, Nick. I used to work for Docker years ago, and so I've had these slides for a while. And by the way, this is just you and I chatting, and who cares about the millions of people listening, right? But really, the whole idea of containers came around from the analogy of shipping containers. It is very analogous in that it is a self-contained, standardized unit. One of the analogies that I loved using was this idea about between houses and apartments. Case in point, in a house, houses are like VMs. You have your own foundation, your own electrical, you have your own water supply, you have your own land around you. That's like the server, where you've got your own kernel, your own operating system, and you have all the plumbing and networking built in. Where when we start thinking about containers, think about apartments where you have a shared foundation, you have shared water, you have shared electrical, you have shared infrastructure. Okay. Yes, you still have your own space. You can do whatever you want in your apartment. But it's that shared nature that provides efficiency, that provides density, right? And that's really kind of what we're thinking about here for computers is velocity and density and potentially self-healing with the containers. Another way to kind of look at it from a computer standpoint of view is that in a container, it does not have an operating system. It has just what you need to run the application. Where in the case of a virtual machine, it has a full operating system. In addition to the efficiency of density, the maintenance goes to zero as well because you're not maintaining that operating system. And there's quite a few programmatic ways to automatically build those images, those container images, to then ship it to production. Okay, so let's do some nomenclature. An image is the static version of that bit of code. A container is a running version of that code. This is on the quiz later. Okay.
Let me give it some notes.
Yeah. No, but so when we start talking about Kubernetes and all these things, try and think about an image is static, a container is running. Pretty simple. Okay. Hopefully that helps. So why Kubernetes, right? So Kubernetes imagine having a management company that manages 15 apartment complexes. Let's go back to that analogy. I like that one. Like 15 apartment complexes where Kubernetes is literally just like a traffic cop, a scheduler, an orchestrator on top that just says, a customer comes. So imagine those big rental companies that have Airbnb. There you go. We'll get like Airbnb. Where you go, hey, Airbnb, I want a house in this area or I want an apartment in this area with these kind of amenities. And Airbnb's like, great, hold on, great, here's the site. Kubernetes kind of does the same thing. You say, hey, Kubernetes, I want to deploy my app in this different way. Kubernetes, great, hold on. And it'll turn around and tell the servers, right? So you do get kind of that orchestration. You do also get storage out of it. You obviously get automation, self-healing, secrets management, and that service discovery. I've got another analogy that I did for, let me see if I can pull these up. Hold on, that's not a good one. I did an analogy for a friend that now works on marketing for ChainGuard and another company. And he was talking about trying to understand Kubernetes in general, but he liked Pez for some reason. So the analogy I went out and bought a bunch of Tic Tacs for him. And the analogy basically is, which one do I got? I got the right one. Yep, is Kubernetes. Ooh, I got to zoom out. But Kubernetes, when you don't have anything deployed on the cluster, is like empty. All the worker nodes are empty. They're waiting for workloads, okay? And when you're ready, you actually go and deploy, let me share the other one. When you go and deploy your applications, they end up like the Tic Tacs in anywhere in the cluster. Okay, there's pros and cons to that, right? The pros initially is, who cares where it goes, right? It just works, and as long as you can network get to your app, everything's good to go, right? And then obviously the flip side is there's hardware nowadays that you may potentially want, where Kubernetes does have that power to go that deep. Does that help? I got one more thing. Kubernetes adds one construct called a pod. So remember, an image is the static, a container is running. In Kubernetes, a pod is at least one container or more. So it adds a slightly bigger shoebox around that application. Does that seem fair? Is that cool?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Okay. Go ahead and share your screen. Let's actually deploy something.
Here we go. Let's see if we go one for one here.
Yeah, awesome. And and to repeat, Nick, we've got a virtual machine running in AWS. Oh, you just shared the password. Dang it. Because you have it in your shell. No worries. Just to clear that out. Yeah. Okay, so he's SSH into a virtual machine. Go ahead and run htop. HTOP. Yep. And so it's got 8 cores. I recommend 8 cores at least on a single node. You can do 4 if you've got a cluster of several. But this is like a standard Red Hat VM on AWS, US East 1. It's 8 cores, 32 gigs of RAM. I gave you a nice big fat box. Okay. You can leave that open if you want to go to the gist. By the way, the gist will be in the show notes. So go ahead and click on the gist and then just scroll down. So we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna deploy RKE2, Rancher, and Longhorn. That's not the IP. I just put it in there. Oh, it's 32 gigs of RAM, but you kind of get the point. What we can do is we can actually start the setup. Now, Rocky and RHEL are very similar. Actually, I think it is. Hold on, I'm actually logged into the box. It is. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's Rocky. It's not RHEL. Yay, Rocky! All the things. Yeah. So one of the things I like to do is disable the firewall. I'm setting up iSCSI, which is a requirement for Longhorn, and I'm just running yum update. So if you want to go ahead, you can skip yum update. I'm not too worried about that. But if you want to just run systemctl disable firewall, and then the first 3 commands there. And you can actually copy the comments too. When you paste it into the terminal, it won't actually do anything.
The instruction software firewall, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, so you could go from like systemctl down to the end of service. Yep, go to the end of the next command. Perfect. You can copy that, and then by the way, PuTTY, it's right mouse click as you discovered earlier. So you hit Q to quit out of that, and then paste. Perfect. Hit enter. Cool. So it flashed really quickly. Firewall D was not on. I'm old school, new school, old school, where I turn it off because I only turn on ports and processes that I know I want to run. I'm very maniacal about that. But the point is, like a software firewall, you're still going to poke holes for your web server to go out. So why even have it on if you're still putting a hole in it? To me, yes, it prevents outbound, but that's a whole other thing. Cool. So we've got the requirements. And so ideally, go ahead and run, type this, yum space update and hit enter. So ideally, you would run yum update. For the sake of this video, it's 172 megs. There's a kernel, there's SE Linux stuff, which will take a few minutes. We're going to skip it for right now, but normally you would do that. Okay?
Okay.
Is it hard so far?
No, I think I'm doing all right.
I think you're doing awesome.
Sweet.
Okay, let's go back to the gist and go to the next set of commands. Like I said, we're going to skip yum update.
Okay.
So we're going to curl. So the beautiful thing is RKE2, when you're in an online setting, has a curl pipe bash. Now, that's somewhat controversial, but because it's going to an HTTPS, it's going to our site, I'm very comfortable with it. I use it in all my workshops. All our commercial customers use it. Absolutely not a problem with it. So that first line, let's just talk through it real quick. So we're going to curl our website, so get rke2.io, and then we're setting a variable of we want the install channel to be 128. That is the stable version right now.
Okay.
So I always just put it in to be clear. And then we're saying we're going to make this server a type server. So if we were adding other nodes, that would be type agent.
Okay.
But for this, it's type server. So literally, you can go ahead and copy both of those. And what it's going to do is it's going to do the curl pipe bash. You go ahead and paste it in. Yep. Hit no. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hit.
No, hit Control C. Now hit paste again. There you go. You can right mouse click there. Perfect. That'll work. Okay. So it's getting the install script. It's setting those two variables. So when it does the install, I don't know if you can see it's pulling version 1.28.
Yeah, right here at the top.
Yep, nailed it. And then once it's done installing all of those packages, it's going to start the service. Now we're starting it with the basic defaults. I've got other videos, and we'll put a link also in the show notes. There's a link in the gist as well of like all the videos I've done, like deep dive with multiple clusters. We're just going to go through the one server, just high level. And in fact, Nick, when we're done with this, I want you to show it to all of my reps and your reps and be like, see, I could do it. You can do it. You know, like that. That's kind of the fun part of it. Oh,
yeah.
Right?
That's exactly yeah. I mean, that's sort of the intention with, the stack and the solutions as well, right?
Yeah. And one thing when Nick came to me with this idea, I actually fell in love with it just because of like, A, he's getting his MBA. He's moving up in the league, a lot better than most of us. But I also love lowering the barrier to entry. So now he's got more tools to move forward. And like I did a video with my 12-year-old daughter. Like if she can do it, anybody can do it. Like seriously, my 12-year-old daughter. Cool. So command line came back. Our processes, our servers, our RKE2 servers are running. If you wanted to go ahead and do htop again, just for giggles. And notice we've got containerd running and kubelet and kube API. So those are all the subcomponents that make up RKE2. So you actually have Kubernetes running right now on the node.
Look at me go.
And it's still coming up. It's still figuring itself out. So the load average will come down. It's already coming down now, I can see. So go ahead and hit Q and quit out of htop and then go back to your gist. Okay. Cool. So now it's up and running. What we need to do is we need to talk to the service, the Kubernetes, RKE2. What we have to do is we have to get the binary in the right spot, and we have to use what's called a kube config. All it is in crazy speak is it's the key. It's like you know how Tesla has that card that's just a key. You know, it's that kind of thing. We just need a file that says this authenticates us. We're cool. I promise we're cool. Okay, so this entire block right here does that. The first one is a symlink to the binary. The second command makes it adds that kube config directory location. It says, hey, that location's over there. Okay. And then the third is actually the kubectl command when we're talking to the node. Go ahead and copy that, and then right mouse click that bad boy, and we should see. Go ahead and hit enter, and we should see. Cool. So the last command was kubectl get node. You can see we've got the IP address of our first node. It's in a ready status. That's what we love to see. And it's got the roles of control plane, etcd, master, and it's been up 106 seconds. And it's got the version. So you want to play a little bit? So hit the up arrow. And then hit space. And then -O space wide. So there's no space between the O and the dash.
-O space Y?
O wide, W-I-D-E.
Wide, excuse me, sorry.
Yeah, it looks like you did a capital O or a 0.
Oh, must have.
Yep, hit enter. Okay. So a lot of these commands have a wide option. What it means is it's actually going to give you a lot more information. So in this case, we can see it's running on Rocky. We can see that the external IP, now it says none, but that's because the cloud provider doesn't know. Kubernetes hasn't told the cloud provider, hasn't talked to it, and that's okay.
Okay.
But we can see it's on Rocky. We can see the kernel version. We can see the containerd version. This is really helpful for us, the engineers, if we're doing diagnostics or we want to understand more about the cluster. The nice thing is you can just hit kubectl get node, and you can run that again, or you've got it up there, and it gives you the short information. One other fun thing we can do a kubectl get. You have to type this in. Kubectl get. Get pod, and hit enter. Okay. Notice it says no resources found in the namespace. So one of the things Kubernetes does is it provides logical separation of what are called namespaces. Think about, in your apartment or the apartments in the building, they'll have think of it that way. Like things are logically separated by floor. Think of a namespace as kind of like a floor.
Okay.
Real easy way. Okay. So what we can do is we can do kubectl get namespaces to see, okay, what floors do we have? What namespaces do we have?
No space.
You got.
Oh,
yeah, you're good there. You got the extra Y in there.
My bad. Name spaces.
Spaces.
Yeah, I'm not a professional typer.
That's okay.
There we go. kubectl get namespaces.
Nailed it.
Perfect.
Yep. And cool. We can see that we've got default. We've got kube public, kube system. Cool. We've got a couple floors.
Okay.
And again, it's just a logical separation. We can create those. When we deploy Rancher, it'll have one. Longhorn will have one. Typically, you have your application in its own namespace.
Okay.
If it makes sense. It's a way of logically separating things out. But see how when we did that kubectl get pod, go ahead and hit the up arrow twice, and that'll take us back to that. And then do a space dash capital A. No space off the dashes. There you go. And what this is, go ahead and hit enter. What this is doing is this is saying, give me all the pods. Notice you got a lot back now.
Right.
But you're seeing all those pods, all those apartments, and all of those namespaces on all of the floors. Okay.
Got it.
These are all the bits of code that are running to make all this stuff work. Now, this is where Kubernetes gets a little cumbersome, right, in terms of what's there. And so this is how we can kind of filter that. Again, don't look at every pod. Look at just your namespace if you're looking at an application. When you do kubectl get pod, it's just the default namespace, and there was nothing there. So pretty straightforward. Cool. Ready to any questions? What do you think? So you've now successfully deployed RKE2 on a single node.
Yeah, no, I don't have any questions. Or I guess maybe one question would be when you're talking about namespaces being on their own floor, will each namespace always have its own floor, and there won't be multiple namespaces on a single floor?
So maybe that wasn't the best analogy.
Sorry.
But think about it again. Think about logical a Venn diagram.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Where Venn diagram, you're going to have overlap.
Right.
With namespaces, there is no overlap.
Okay.
That's why kind of floors, no two floors. The floors don't overlap.
Hopefully not.
So, split foyer. Not getting into split foyers. I'm not going to judge modern American semi-modern American architecture. But yeah, they are separate.
Right.
But equal.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Again, I think a logical separation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another analogy would be like files in a filing cabinet. You have folders.
Okay.
And you have multiple files in the folder, but the folders don't overlap. Again, there's no overlap.
Okay.
Yeah, which you can do. We've got the font pretty high for visibility, but if it was smaller or your window was bigger, you would see them all lined out, and you would see that first column is the namespace.
Okay.
So, and the other cool thing about so hit the up arrow. And we'll do this a little differently. And so instead of dash capital A, which is all of them, you could do dash N, which is specify the namespace.
Capital N still?
Lowercase.
Okay.
Yep. And then say, you need to put default in there, or when we deploy Rancher, we'll do cattle dash system because that's what Rancher likes. So you can be very specific as to what you're looking at. In other words, I'm going to go look in that folder, or I'm going to go to that floor.
Right.
And look in that floor.
Okay. I'm tracking.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let's go back to the gist, and if you're ready, let's deploy our first major application, which is just Rancher.
Let's do it.
Yep, so we're going to do the Rancher install. So before we did a curl pipe bash for Kubernetes, for our RKE2, we need a separate tool. Okay, I'm trying to think of a good analogy for this. Imagine, I'm going to go to food. I always fall back to food. Everybody loves food. Hopefully.
Everybody.
Yeah. Imagine going to, actually, we'll stick with Airbnb. I like that idea because we've used that before. We'll go to that again. Imagine you now have an assistant.
Okay.
And you go to your assistant and you say, hey, I need 10 apartments in such and such a city. We're having a conference. And your assistant goes like, cool, I know what to do, and goes and does it for you. It's a way of abstracting away the work effectively, right? Well, we're going to use a tool called Helm. By the way, there is a nautical theme to all of Kubernetes, although Rancher uses a cattle theme, which is a different. Do you know about that analogy? That where the origin of Rancher?
I'm familiar with the helmsman guiding, and then the cats and cattle where Rancher comes into play.
Yep, pets and cattle. Perfect. Okay, so that's awesome. So Rancher's origin, the name of the origin of the name is treat your containers, treat your applications like cattle. In other words, if one dies, you just go get another one, versus treating them like pets where you have to care and feed them. And so the company started Rancher leaning into that, and they've leaned in very hard. Seriously, Longhorn. Cattle was the old orchestrator. Now it's Kubernetes. Like there's a lot of underlying themes around cattle. Hold on. I got to show this because one of our coworkers was laughing at it the other day. But we have the cow for Rancher, and then when SUSE bought us, so this is known as the Cowmelion, which is pretty funny. Yeah, these are apparently pretty coveted because I don't know if they're making them anymore, which is cool. So yeah, so they went pretty deep in that. Okay, so we're going to use Helm. So the first command there is a Helm install, is a curl pipe bash for Helm install. That's it. Copy it, paste it, rock and roll. This is going to give us basically a binary called Helm. And you can do Helm space version if you want to just see what it looks like and validate that is installed and go ahead and, yep, boom, it's written and go. And really all Helm's going to do, like your assistant, they're going to translate what you're saying into the language that Kubernetes is expecting. Pretty easy. So it literally just renders code. Okay. Now, if we go back to the gist, what we're going to do is Helm likes this idea of a repo. So we're going to add 2 repos because to install Rancher, it requires 2 repos.
Okay.
The first one is Rancher. Obviously, those are, and Helm uses what's called charts. So that's just the code for that specific application.
Okay.
So we're going to add those 2 repos. Why don't you go ahead and do that now? And the first one is for Rancher. The second one is for Cert Manager. So we're going to create a self-signed cert. Cert Manager will do it for us. That's why we need to add it. Cool. They're both added. If you're curious, Helm repo list, and that'll show you all of the repositories that Helm is aware of. And there's our 2. Perfect. Okay. Let's go back to the gist. And now we can do Helm install. So the first one, obviously, is the Cert Manager. We need that first. And then the second one is going to be the...
And
go ahead.
And I can do this one first, you said?
Yes, please. Go ahead and do that first. We're going to have to modify the second command a little bit because we have to give it an IP, right? So, okay, see this? See where it says the 142? Mm-hmm. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and paste it in, but don't hit enter.
Okay.
Because we're going to change that IP. Hold on. So actually, just wait a sec. There you go. Now it's installing. Hit Control-C just to clear it out. So when we installed Cert Manager, there was a wait. It waited till the pods were up.
Okay.
Before it came up. So that tells me Cert Manager came up. Otherwise, it would throw in a big error.
Okay.
Okay. So now we can paste in. So you can right mouse click, but then left arrow to that IP, and let's validate. That was that 18 IP I gave you earlier. If you have it, or I can put it in chat.
Drop it in chat. I'm not sure which browser that ended up in.
Okay, hold on.
Appreciate it.
First day with the fingers. Copy and paste. I don't know if... So this is the first time we're trying Riverside FM to record this, so I don't know if I don't think the chat will show up. But it's going to be... I didn't throw it in Discord. I threw it in Riverside. I'll give it to you. So just you can go ahead. It's 18.
And, being one of my first times kind of operating in one of these like terminals, can I like delete the one, or what's like the best way to?
You can go to the end of the IP, so go to the after 52 and just hit the delete. Yep, go right one more.
Okay, got it. I see what's happening there.
And now, and now you can type 18.206.91.5. Okay, perfect. Before you hit enter, actually go ahead and hit enter. What we're doing is we're basically saying, hey, Rancher, when you come up, I want you to have to expect a website name called rancher.18.206.91.5.nip.io. In fact, you can actually copy, see that echo HTTPS right there in the middle. Go ahead and don't worry about the echo. Just get the HTTPS, because we're going to actually go to the browser, go all the way to the IO, and you can copy there. Yep.
Oh.
Okay, perfect. Right mouse. I think that automatically highlights with putty. So if you go back to your browser, go ahead and open up a new tab, and then paste that in. Cool background. Perfect. Hit enter. Now it'll probably error out. Let's just wait on that. So what's actually happened behind the scenes? This is kind of fun. Rancher, and let's show you an inside secret. It's just an application. So what that means, if we go back to our terminal and do, say, kubectl space get space ns for namespace.
Kubectl space
get ns. So we're just getting the namespaces again.
Okay.
Notice we have a whole bunch more, but notice they all start with cattle or fleet. That's Rancher installing its components. Okay. The nice thing about it being just an application is we have a thing called ingress. Kubernetes, remember I said it was like a traffic cop? It's also a traffic cop for networking.
Okay.
So what ingress is literally its name to what the inside service is. There's more detail there. I'm trying to stay high level. But it's literally just name to application. That's it. So it could be nicksfuzzybunny.slippers.com. It could be Andy Clemenko's a nerd.com, like a .io or info. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Again, name to service.
Okay.
So if you want, we could do, to take a look at this, we could do kubectl get ingress. And then because we're not sure which namespace, we just want to say, tell me all of the names that the system knows about. You would do a dash capital A.
So the dash capital A is, I'm guessing, short for like all?
Correct. It's short for, you could do dash all dash namespaces or capital A.
Okay.
Perfect. And that the name, Rancher, nip.io, you see an internal address, everything looks good. Okay. Now, one of the things I did, because this is AWS, is I've opened the firewall up to automatically go through. In a traditional AWS, you can create what's called a load balancer. It'll talk to AWS. It'll spin up an EOB. It'll take all your money, but it'll route your traffic for you. So I've streamlined that and simplified it. And oh, by the way, remember I said it could be Nick's Fuzzy Bunny Slippers? Mm-hmm. That nip.io will actually reflect whatever IP is in front of it as a DNS entry. So it takes care of a lot of the automation for you, and it's simple. Okay. I think we've given it enough time. I think we're ready to go back to the browser and hit refresh.
Let's do it.
Yep, go to that page and hit refresh. Now, you're getting a cert warning,
right,
which is fine, because remember I said we're using a self-signed cert. So go ahead and click through that, hit advanced, and then hit, yep, sure, proceed. Boom. You've now deployed Rancher on Kubernetes. Now, one of the things, I don't know, why don't you go back to that first tab, because I hopefully it was clear. Did I put the instructions in? Yes, I did. Awesome. So obviously the IP is different in the navigate section. So scroll down. We've installed. But see, it says the password is bootstrap all the things. So go ahead and copy that word. And that Helm instructions, like you told your assistant, go use this credit card. This is how I want to get in or whatever. Mm-hmm. Same kind of thing. So this is a bootstrap password. Go ahead and hit login. Okay, cool. It liked the password. Now it's just saying, are you sure this is our address? So that's true. And then it says, by checking it, you agree to the EULA. But I always uncheck the allow.
Okay.
Obviously, so Nick and I both work for Rancher Government, air quotes there. And so we're very sensitive to air gaps and our customers. And so I always recommend just turning off the telemetry. And also we're playing, so it's not real information, right? So I'm cool with that. Go ahead and hit continue. And cool. Here's the good news. Everything else we're going to do, we're now going to do in the GUI. In fact, can you increase the font a little bit, like 2 ticks? Perfect. Okay. You've now, how does it feel to deploy Rancher and RKE2 for the first time?
It actually feels pretty cool to see like the process of how going through the terminal, gets you to, like you said, the GUI, and then the ease and the use of like the interface here, and how it kind of can make a lot more sense to like someone like me than potentially like the terminal.
Awesome. Yeah, and the nice thing is like you're basically done with the terminal. You
Right.
don't need it anymore. There's a lot of things you can continue to do, but you don't need it. And the other cool part is all this stuff can be automated. You can literally click a button. I mean, I can make a web page to do all this for you. So you click a button, and now you have a whole cluster waiting for you. In fact, if you look on the right, mouse over the starting at the right at the top, you've got the house. Up, right, the house is our dashboard. That's what you see here. You've got that first cattle symbol. That is the local cluster. So one of the cool things about Rancher is that it can manage and schedule downstream clusters in cloud providers. So notice you've got the sailboat icon. You can mouse over it. It should show you like what it is. On the left, sorry, on the far left.
Oh, apologies. Got it.
No worries. So continuous delivery. So that's a way where we can have, we can tell Rancher, hey, here's a Git repo, a source of truth, version control. And in there, if our files are designed right, it'll give the instructions to Rancher to automatically deploy. So now, in other words, like that Airbnb kind of analogy, you tell Airbnb, every room has to have chocolates on the bed. I need the temperature set to 64 degrees. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And I need ESPN 8 playing on the TV when I get there. But that's kind of the automation, and they're supposed to take care of it for you, right? So the nice thing, continuous delivery can do that. In fact, I've got some videos and demos. This is not set up to play with it, but you can have it completely automated to build downstream or deploy applications. Bob's your uncle.
So like you would use the continuous delivery to, set those, chocolates and TV channel for when you deployed, any container.
Yeah, and the cool part is
Okay.
that's getting its instructions from version control. So here's a classic use case. I'm a developer. We built the cluster. I want to deploy the 15 apps that make up my company's website or whatever. You put it in continuous delivery. By the way, the tool name is Fleet. That's the internal tool name. But I can put it in there, and then if I have a developer want to make a change the color, whatever, I just update version control. Rancher with Fleet goes, hey, there's a change. I'm going to go make that. Hold on. And it'll go do it for me. So if I'm scaling, if I'm changing colors, if I'm upgrading images, or changing anything I want a different chocolate. I want ESPN 2 instead of the Ocho. You're like, whatever. It'll go ahead and automatically do it. And the cool part is it takes about 45 seconds to go and do the poll. So one of the demos I give is I have a workshop where people deploy Rancher and all these things, and a dummy app. And the dummy app has 3 replicas. I was like, great, let's set it to 5. So we go and edit the version control, set it to 5, hit commit, hit save. 45 seconds, Rancher goes, cool, hold on, and automatically starts scaling up the number of pieces, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's really slick. Give me one sec. I gotta make sure we got enough time. I think we do. Oh yeah, we got plenty of time. Cool. Look at me, smart guy. Okay, that's continuous delivery. Now go to the next one, which is cluster management. Go ahead and click on this one because this is kind of interesting. So cluster management, we have the ability to talk to AWS, to talk to other vendors. Go ahead and click create in the upper right.
Okay.
So this is one of the major advantages of using a GUI on top of Kubernetes like this, is we can actually go and talk to these cloud vendors. Notice Harvester is one of our cloud providers, but we can talk to them and say, hey, DigitalOcean, hey, AWS, hey, Harvester, go build me a 5-node cluster with this version, this version, this version, this version, this version. So Rancher becomes that hub to all of your downstream spokes. That's why, what's Rancher's nickname internally?
Multi-cluster manager?
Bingo, right?
Nice.
Because we can manage the cluster lifecycle. He nailed it, man. He nailed it.
Maybe those
By the way,
MBA classes are paying off.
if you missed that, we'd have to do this whole video over. I'd be like, dude.
Well, we'd chop it. We'd fix it.
No. You gotta leave.
Get the robot voice to come in over top of my voice.
Oh, what's the TikTok voice? You know, the female. Yeah. God, that'd be fun. We might just have to do it for giggles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Asterisk. He did not get this correct.
He totally, or like, you said what?
Yeah.
So back to task on hand, right? So again, Rancher can kind of manage that as well. What we're going to do is we're going to deploy Longhorn in Rancher. But the big picture is Rancher not only supports cluster lifecycle management, but it also does application lifecycle management. And that's a real interesting thing is it really does lower the barrier to entry for everybody, which is cool. And then the automation makes it super geeky for us, which is really cool. I'm not going to spend too much other time. If you want to mouse over on the far left-hand side, if you want to mouse over, that's Virtualization Manager. So that can actually talk to Harvester and manage the VMs there. Not in this demo. We can definitely shoot a video, follow up on that if people are interested. Go to the user, the guy. This is where you'd set up authentication if you're using Keycloak, OIDC SAML 2, other authentication like Okta, right? Our company just switched to Okta. Mm-hmm. Yay. And then there's a plugin, and then there's about. Extensions is for the plugins, and then go to the next one, and then some of the global settings and about. Pretty straightforward, right, in terms of a web app. Are you a dark mode guy or a light mode guy?
Usually dark mode.
This is important. I'm going to show you. Don't change the setting because I like light mode in videos. But see that green blob in the upper right-hand corner? That's your user account. Go ahead and click on that. And then go to preferences. And this is where, for those of us that love dark mode and are not presenting, I think white looks better just on video. That's just me. But that's where you go ahead and change that. Okay. So let's go back and let's go to the dashboard. So click on the house.
Okay.
And by the way, this is in the, okay, just to keep me honest, go back to the first page. Go back to the first tab, to the gist.
The gist, okay.
Yep, and scroll down, and I just said Longhorn install. We're going to use the app catalog, and for more fun, there's links. So you can leave this open. Let's go back, and let's walk you through, which is actually kind of cool. There's 5 different ways to deploy applications.
Oh, wow.
Literally in Rancher, yeah. Go ahead and click on the word local. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to look specifically into that local cluster, which is our single node. Okay, great. So now we can see, click on like projects and namespaces. So you can see that like it's the same information, it's the same number of namespaces, but notice you're only seeing 3.
Okay.
At the top, there's only user namespaces. If you click that drop down, you will see, you see the top. Yep, center, perfect. You'll see all namespaces. Go ahead and click that.
Which would be my dash capital A.
Nailed it, dude. Awesome.
We're learning.
Cool, it's working. We're learning. Yeah, exactly. It's dash capital A. You can see all the different namespaces underneath. And if you scroll down, it's the same cattle, it's the same fleet, Coop system, right? So again, think that logical separation. One of the things that Rancher does pretty well is multi-tenant. In other words, say you've got 10 employees. You've got 10 assistants or 10 developers. And you would want to not let developer A see developers B's namespaces and pods, just for resource isolation. Or you could isolate it per cluster, you could isolate it per node. You've got a lot of control there. Fine-grained, role-based access control, RBAC for short. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to deploy an application, but it's going to be super easy.
Can't wait.
Go ahead and click on, okay, let me show you, before we do that, I want to go through the 5 ways. I want to, did you mute yourself, or did I lose audio? Oh, you did? Okay. Oh, okay. I was like, my audio went goofy. Your audio is so good. It's like I can't hear your fan in the background.
Yeah, no, and then I just have like a push to mute. So when I coughed, so that was to avoid a disruption. But here we are.
Nice. Okay, so the first thing I want to do. Okay, remember that filter bar at the top, all namespaces?
Yes.
Go ahead and mouse to the right to that first icon, the up arrow.
Okay.
Okay, import YAML. Go ahead and click on that. This is method number 1. I could paste in that application definition here, and it would go ahead and deploy it. Don't ever do this.
Okay.
This is not production. This is just, this is a method. It's okay in a dev environment. I'm testing something, right? Not a big deal. This is not reproducible. This is a human doing it. Remove humans from the chain.
So this would not. It's like not an automation style.
This is a one-time.
Okay.
This is a one-off. Yeah, this is absolutely a one-off. Go ahead and hit cancel. Okay, let's go to the next, and it says kubectl shell. Go ahead and click that. And what this is doing is, see how it opened the window at the bottom? It's actually creating a pod that has kubectl access to the cluster. So if you typed in kubectl get ingress, because we know we've got like one line out of that, and dash capital A.
Oops.
Right. So that's fine. Yep.
kubectl get ingress. Kubectl.
Yeah, that's why they're
it seems to be my favorite little add-on there. CTL.
You should be able to hit up arrow in that. But yeah.
Get ingress.
Capital A.
The up arrow is like a way to bring up the most recent command.
Yes.
Okay.
So go ahead and hit the up arrow. That's a Linux shell thing, and you can actually keep hitting the up arrow and scroll up through your history. In fact, if you can hit Control C, and that'll break the line.
Okay.
And now type history and hit enter.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself.
No worries.
History.
Yep, hit enter. And there you go. Now it shows you all the commands. Here, you want to get really crazy?
Yes.
Hit colon.
Which one's the colon? Nope.
Nope.
This one?
Next one over. That's a semicolon. So shift that key.
Got it. Bad luck.
Hit the number. Now type 3.
3.
So what we're gonna execute the third command in the history list. Go ahead and hit enter.
Oh, why didn't it work?
Why didn't it work? I don't know. That should work. Maybe it might be a different shell. Don't worry about it. But in theory, you can go back and type the command in, the number, and it'll repeat it. But at least the history is there, and then you can grep and search through it. If like, as a Linux guy, it's like, oh, what command did I run? Oh, history pipe, and then I search it for some keyword.
Yeah, and then if it's a longer, it just saves you more, keystrokes on the keyboard, right?
Yeah.
No, that's slick.
Yep. I'm trying something right now. I'm trying to remember. Is it? Oh, it's exclamation. Sorry. It's exclamation 3.
Okay. So just
click back into it. There you go, and type exclamation 3. There you go.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
It was me.
Like
not the program.
It definitely was me on that one. I'll take the. The older you get, man. Like, notice I have no hair.
Yeah.
And my eyes are going. Like I was reading to my kid last night. All of a sudden, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Just started screaming and ran downstairs. I was like, what the hell's the problem? I was like, I need glasses.
I've dove into the glasses early.
I need reading glasses. Anyway, okay. So cool. There's method number 2, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually type in kubectl run and things like that. So this is method number 2 of deploying applications. Okay, you can go ahead and hit that X in the kind of the middle left of the screen. We can close our shell out. By the way, that's really good for troubleshooting for developers. Just to kind of think about that.
Right.
So go to the next icon at the top and see it says download kubeconfig. So that is remember we had that kubeconfig file on the server. This is a way that I can go to my client workstation. I've already authenticated to the browser. Rancher knows who I am. I can download that kubeconfig and I can run it locally. Okay, so that's number 3. That is not the way to do it as well.
Okay.
Okay. Again, very good for dev and test, not prod. Because think about production, you want repeatability. I keep looking at my face. I gotta stop. You want repeatability. You want that, like, hey, at 3 a.m. when something goes wrong, the engineer comes on and goes, oh, that's the source of truth. I'm going to use version control or some other mechanism.
Okay.
But that's method number 3. So the first one was import YAML. Second one was do it in the browser. The third one was do it on my machine, my client machine. The fourth one is actually not there. Good try, though. The fourth one was that continuous delivery.
Okay.
The fourth one was, hey, I'm going to go automatically tell Rancher, go use this version control, this version control, and it'll go ahead and start deploying apps. In fact, if we're not going to get into it because I want to keep this a little bit shorter, but definitely another time, another follow-up. Okay, we're going to go into the fifth method, and this is the best one, I think, for a lot of people. See, it says apps on the left-hand side.
Yes.
Go ahead and click on that. This is our app catalog. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So anybody can deploy these apps. So if you scroll down, what we're going to do is look for Longhorn. It's the, yep, go ahead and click on Longhorn. But you can see, before you click on it, sorry, you can see that there's a ton of different applications, like a monitoring stack. We have pulled in some of the best of breed open source software, Prometheus, Grafana, Fluentd, to create that. And it's literally a zero-click go. So let's go ahead and click on Longhorn. And it says, great, upgrade to Kubernetes 125. Cool. Go ahead and hit install. So it's going to give you some information, what version. And so one of the things I didn't tell you is Rancher provides another logical separation abstract called projects.
Okay.
So remember how a namespace has pods? A project has namespaces.
Okay.
I know we're circles on circles on circles.
All good.
Don't need to worry about it right now. Just go ahead and hit next.
Okay.
We're going to YOLO it. We're not even going to customize it. Go ahead and hit install. That's it. Now, what's the fun part about this is behind the scenes. Does this look familiar?
It does.
What does it look like?
This.
Helm. Yes. Perfect. So you see how it says, great success.
Yes.
It's cool. We can close it. We can
just click this X?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's already deployed the application. So if we scroll down, we should see shortly Longhorn. Yeah, keep scrolling down. Longhorn system. Cool. See how you have Longhorn on the left-hand side as well.
Okay.
The word Longhorn now. Go ahead and click on that. And click on that link. What this is doing, you've now deployed Longhorn, which is our storage platform.
Oh, wow. Okay. On the one node, and it has the
Correct.
54.9, excuse my ignorance.
Gigawatts.
Got it. Thank you.
Actually, I think that nomenclature is gigabytes.
Okay.
I think that's
This is showing
54 gigs.
the left side here. What is this showing?
okay. Longhorn uses all available storage on the node to present storage to the applications. So the nice thing is if you've got 3 nodes, 50 nodes, it'll aggregate all of that storage. So if you click on the node tab at the top, okay, and you can see we have our one node and it's got a ton of free, but there's an amount of reserve space.
Okay.
So Longhorn is very cognizant about what it uses and what it doesn't use. Okay. If you click on volume at the top, we don't have a current application using a volume, but this is provided to all of the applications underlying. So in other words, our analogies are getting wild.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Back to the whole apartment thing. Imagine saying, hey, apartment complex person, I need a storage unit in the basement for my 17 bikes. I mean, no, I don't have 17 bikes anymore. But imagine saying I need a storage unit. This effectively is an external service providing storage for your application. So case in point, if you had a website with a hit counter and you need a database to keep track of it, or WordPress in the database, it's called stateful storage because if I kill the application, if I move apartments, my storage unit is still there waiting for me.
Okay.
Cool. Let's go back to Rancher. You want to try another?
Would that just be the dashboard?
Well, the Rancher tab.
Oh, apologies. Yeah, so we were in the Longhorn application tab. Okay.
We were looking at Longhorn.
Tracking.
Yeah, one of the things I kind of want to highlight is Longhorn is not exposed to the internet. The only way we were able to get to it is because we logged into Rancher and Rancher proxied to the Longhorn webpage. So it's if you're an external hacker and looking at it, first off, you're not going to know what's going on. Right. You'd have to throw names at it because, again, the ingress controller is waiting for a specific name to come across. But internally, we can have some fun with it. So, like in the workshop I give, I run NewVector. I run a handful of applications internally because it going through the proxy makes it so much easier and it's hidden. And tools, infrastructure tools like Longhorn or NewVector, you probably don't necessarily need to have out on the interweb.
Right.
So, cool. What we can do to kind of prove this, if you go to Service Discovery on the left.
Got it.
And then go to Ingresses.
Ingresses.
Yep.
Oh,
to the left.
To the left. On this side? Okay, apologies.
Yeah, there you go. No worries.
Oh, so it's the drop down. Okay, I'm tracking.
Yep. No worries. And so now you see that the rancher name that you were already at. Notice there's no Longhorn, there's no other applications because, again, it's going through the proxy and it's hidden.
Would you like me to click on it?
No, you don't have to. You're already in it.
Oh.
That's how you got, that's the rancher GUI. So the GUI's showing you the name for the GUI.
Oh, okay. Got it.
It's a circular reference. So you've deployed RKE2, Rancher, and Longhorn using Helm, curl pipe bash, and effectively Helm, but an app catalog with what was it, 3 clicks?
Yeah.
What do you think? Is this hard?
No, not. I mean, not for me, which is I think is a good baseline for most people if they're looking at trying to see if they can get their team spun up on it. Like you said, if they can get something built up and ran to where it gets them kind of deployed right into the GUI, there's a lot of ease inside here as compared to maybe working through the terminal.
Yeah, and one thing that I love is that it definitely meets all of our customers where they are from a technical standpoint of view. So if they're uber technical, we can go deep in the command line. If you're not, click application install.
Yep.
Right. I'm no judgment. You did the same thing perfectly and easily. I do it from the command line just because I can script it and chain it together a lot quicker.
Right.
That's all. Cool. Here's obviously we'll leave this up for a little while. You can play. I think the only call to action I have on this video is go back to the first tab. Go back to the gist. And again, this is going to be in the show notes. But click on that link, rfed.io links. And this is a list of, you can zoom in a little bit. This is a list of all the resources, all the videos, all of the guides, blogs that I've written and have worked on. And here's the best part. This video, Nick, will be added to this list once we get it edited and posted up to YouTube.
There we go. Right at the top, right?
I will actually, we will put it at the top.
There we go.
But this is, there's a lot more resources here. If they want to go deep dive, if you go look at the videos, we've got one on like NewVector, Federation. Right in the middle there is the video section. We've got one on like Harvester, which just came out. We've got ones on Hauler. Anything anybody's looking into or is curious about, just reach out to you and I'm going to put both our emails in here in the show notes. Just reach out and just hey, if there's something you're looking for, well, let's make it. Let's jump on a call or video like this and figure it out. Because I think it helps everybody at the end of the day, which I'm all about. Yeah,
no, it definitely helped me. And if there's anything anyone else wants to see if I'm capable of doing, please, I'm always looking for a good challenge.
Oh, I think you need to come up with some ideas. I think, well, this is your idea, actually, so this is awesome.
Yeah. But don't let me come up with too many ideas. I might get myself down a path I'm not sure where
Let's just see where it is. I mean, as a buddy of mine once said, what could go wrong?
Oh. As a former Marine, don't tempt me.
Don't challenge it. Yeah, my wife hates when I do that voice. What could go wrong? Because we've had some fun adventures.
Oh, haven't we all?
Oh, we have. Okay, cool, man. Anything else you want to add? Anything you're curious about?
Yeah. As it stands right now, I don't have anything off the top of my head. It's definitely something that I'm going to even go back and rewatch. Our own video here just to kind of see myself going through it and, pick up on, some of just like the nomenclature and the terms that were used and, it's just giving me an insight into, where the value is for, other programs and customers that are looking to utilize it as well.
You got to promise me 2 things. A, you go on LinkedIn and you put DevOps expert. We didn't do the security tool yet. Go put DevOps expert.
Yeah.
Seriously. And LinkedIn, I'll vouch for you.
We'll see how small I can make the print.
I will endorse you on LinkedIn.
Click ops specialist, maybe.
Absolutely. Add it. Go ahead. I'll endorse it. Number 2, share this with your coworkers. Share this with your ISR people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they want to do it, we'll grab them and we'll do it. We'll do a workshop or something internally because again, rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah, no, I agree for sure.
Cool. We will call this an end. Wait, you have to say it now. What are the 3 of YouTube? How does every YouTuber end their video? You got to say it.
Oh, like, subscribe, and follow?
Share.
I'm not a YouTuber. Well, I guess now I am. Like, subscribe, and share, please, everyone.